Where is Peaky Andressian? Is he dead or alive?
There's nothing specific that is leading us either way.
You just lay in bed and all you think about is where is he? Is he eating? You know, does he have a warm blanket?
A massive 24/7 search is launched. The 5-year-old disappeared after a visit with his father to Disneyland.
He can't think of anyone that would harm him.
Would he harm him?
Absolutely not.
Aramazd Andressian had no criminal record.
Never been arrested before. Never even received a speeding violation or any kind of ticket.
But police suspected Andressian did harm his child, and even though they didn't have the evidence to arrest him, they never let him out of their sight.
What the detectives did was spend the next 2 months just building a case piece by piece, watching his behavior, talking with other people who knew him.
One thing was clear while Peaky's mother worked day and night to find her son.
Be brave, honey. Know that Mama and a lot of people are working very hard to bring you home.
For Andressian, finding his son was not a priority. Partying in Vegas was.
There was even an occasion where he went skydiving.
Right from the beginning, within a week, he was at the T-Mobile Arena watching a boxing match. From going there to with prostitutes to skydiving, the amount of drugs he was using out there. Everything was just surreal with his daily activities of someone who had told investigators that his son just magically had disappeared.
Suspicion grew deeper when cell phone records showed Andressian turned off his phone just before the trip to Disneyland. So no pings.
No pings at all. He planned this, and we knew he planned this.
And Andressian had created a will days before the visit with his son. But his older model BMW was an investigative gold mine. What was found on the car and in the car?
His car was found doused in gasoline. The interior was fully doused, the exterior was fully doused. There were 2 gas containers inside the car, and he had a rag sticking out of the gas cap.
Investigators found knives and an LED lantern still lit.
It told us whatever he did with his child, he did under the cover of darkness.
There was a child's sweatshirt with a white film on the back which appeared to be vomit. And then a startling and emotional discovery.
There was an ultrasound picture of Peaky directly on the front dashboard under the radio. And we found that significant.
He was holding on to the first image he had of Peaky in this world.
Right.
Now detectives are working under the theory that Andressian murdered his child and had planned to kill himself, but they had to prove it.
Was DNA evidence used at all in this case?
There was no DNA at all.
What about computer forensics?
We found a couple of computers, and a huge concern to us in the middle of this investigation was that he was searching wilderness areas in Santa Barbara County.
It was a significant clue. Detectives believe the internet search of secluded, heavily wooded areas 2 hours north was part of a calculated plan.
He was searching for a place to bury or leave his son's body.
Search teams scoured 30 miles of terrain and nearby Lake Cachuma. Police gather multiple surveillance images recorded in the lake area, and they're troubled by what they see, or in this case, what they don't see.
All our surveillance, we did not see Peaky at all. We only seen the father the entire time.
Investigators were certain Peaky was dead, and now they've developed a timeline. Believing Andressian leaves Disneyland with his son at 1 a.m., it takes him 5 hours to arrive at the Lake Cachuma area, where detectives say he murders his child and disposes of him in a remote wooded area. He reappears at 8 a.m. on a surveillance camera at the lake. Andressian is alone. Then he drives to South Pasadena, where police find him unconscious at 6 a.m. the next morning.
His intentions were to kill himself after he killed the child. He was going to light that car on fire. He was going to take as many prescription medications as he can to the point where he was about to pass out, and then light that car on fire.
So what happened? He passed out before he could light it on fire?
He passed out.
2 months after little Peaky Andressian went missing, police arrest his belligerent and defiant father in Las Vegas on a no-body murder charge.
He was on prescription medications. He wasn't clear-headed. He was hostile towards us. He called us animals. He said something to the effect of, we spent $7 million to find his child and we still couldn't find him.
Taunting you for all your efforts.
He was.
And so much for those plans to kill himself. Andressian had bleached his hair and applied for a passport.
The detectives were concerned that Aramazd Sr. might try to flee to Iran or to Russia to avoid being extradited back to the United States.
Coming up, cops have arrested Andressian, but where is Peaky? The family is desperate for answers.
I'm his big cousin. I was supposed to protect him. You know, I promised him I would protect him, and I failed him.
You had to be honest.
I had to. I don't want to, and I didn't want to give her a false sense of hope.